Welcome to Theater of the Mind Entertainment, a Call of Cthulhu tabletop RPG playthrough radio drama, featuring our victims John, Matt, and Don, and I'm your Tomeskeeper, Cody.
Theodore, John, and Oliver, you find yourselves at the top of this mound at the foot of this towering monolith. Its black obsidian is just reflecting the sunlight like a mirror, and you're standing there in the heat.
Oh, guys. Can't believe you made it up here.
I can't believe you made it up here.
You are looking a little better now, thankfully.
I'm not feeling a little better.
So, what do you suppose that is?
The things you see when you're out and about, huh?
I mean, it's a giant stone of some sort. It looks like one of those monoliths from Egypt or something.
Odd, and all the way out here, too. Has a strange shimmer to it.
Oliver, you still got that radio?
Yeah, I got it right here. Checking it. It doesn't seem to be getting a signal. I'm gonna walk around a little bit and see if I can't get some feedback on it.
Oliver, you begin walking around this mound, and you're trying to find some sort of signal or just something that would give you a little bit of hope to be found and discovered. And you walk closer to this monolith, and as you approach it, you kind of peer into it. And when you look, you see inside of this thing, and it begins to warp. This image begins to warp and form, and you see this long corridor, and it almost seems as if you can just walk right into it. And it's weird to you as you approach, because this corridor looks fancy and Victorian and very decorative. And you peer a little closer, and you see paintings on these corridor walls. Go ahead and give me a spot check.
83 fail.
You're so enamored with this vision that you don't notice anything around you as you approach. And you walk closer, and you think you see something standing at the end of this corridor.
What? What is that?
You peer down this long corridor, and you see this figure of what appears to be that little girl. And her head's down, and her hair is hanging almost down to the floor, and she's standing in this white dress, and she begins slowly walking towards you, and you're staring at her, and you hear these creaks as she takes these slow, brooding footsteps, and you hear this laughter that echoes in this hallway that doesn't seem to exist, and she gets closer and closer and closer to you.
No. I got away from you. You're not real. I escaped you.
You begin to try to calm yourself down and tell yourself that this isn't real. And you look back at her, and this time she is right in front of you, staring, and her eyes are pitch black, and she's staring at you with no emotion. She's not smiling. She's just staring, and this laughter continues to fill your head, and you freeze. You can't move. You are fixated on this little girl as she stares into your eyes. Theodore and John, you notice that Oliver just sort of stops at the foot of this monolith, and you heard him sort of saying something, and then he stopped and is just staring.
Oliver, did you say something?
He doesn't respond.
What's he doing over there?
Are you still checking the radio, Oliver?
Oh, it looks like he's taking a fit. Come on, Ted, let's go check on him. Now's not the time to have him freak out on us.
John and Theodore, you begin walking towards this monolith. John, as you approach, you notice that Oliver is just frozen. He's stiff like a board.
I reach out and put my hand on his shoulder.
As you reach your hand out, something catches your eye towards this monolith, and you peer over, and you look inside of this thing, and this smooth black obsidian just turns into this gorgeous picture, this memory that was reseated inside of your brain that just surfaced. And you see you and your brother playing outside at your grandparents' house, gorgeous sunny day in Louisiana, and you're running around chasing each other with sticks, and you're playing in the old bayou, and it brings back all of these wonderful memories, and it just makes you feel so comforted. And for a minute, you forget that you're even lost on this island, and you're just enjoying the moment, remembering what you had with your brother.
Oh, Roger, I wish you were still here with me. I really don't know what to do anymore. And I reach my hand out to touch the image.
As you reach your hand out, you touch this hard, smooth, black surface. And as you do, the image immediately fades away, and you're left just staring at yourself, almost as if you're standing in front of a mirror.
Huh, quite a sight I am. And I reach back and try to adjust my tie, my shirt, my coat.
You reach back, and as you adjust your tie, you look back into the mirror, and when you look up, you just see your eyes begin turning blood red, and they begin to form into these little slits.
What? Gotta be the heat. It's so hot out here.
And as you're talking, you see that your jawline begins to protrude and elongate, and you notice that your teeth get really long and sharp, and you see this drool beginning to run from your mouth, and your body begins to turn dark and black and hazy and foggy, and before you even realize, you're staring at the creature that has been haunting you for days. Roll sanity.
18 success.
You're staring at this creature, and previously you've convinced yourself that it's just your imagination, it can't be real.
I take a step to the side and try to move out of its line of sight. Does it follow me?
Yes, as you move, this thing does follow you, and you just feel its breath on the back of your neck as you hear this snarling sound.
Oh, stand there and mock me, do you? Your time's coming.
Theodore, you hear John just saying these random words that don't really make sense to you. It's definitely not any language you've ever heard. It's almost like this guttural babble coming from his lips.
As I'm standing next to John, kind of staring at Oliver, just as he's holding the radio. John, what are you saying?
John, you don't hear him.
John. And I reach out and try to touch him.
As you reach out to try to touch John's shoulder, something catches your eye, and you look over and you peer into this monolith, and you see this image of you as a young boy, maybe no older than 9 or 10, and you're on your father's fishing boat, and you're sailing off into the ocean, and your father looks down at you. Son,
What is it, Dad?
one thing I want to show you, and I want you to keep it in mind.
Are you finally going to show me how to catch those fish?
Well, yes, son, of course. But if you ever find yourself lost, I want you to peer up at the sky. You see that star up there? And he points into the morning sky, and you peer up and you see this twinkling star. If you ever get lost, son, I want you to look up and find that star, and you follow it, and you'll find your way home. Theodore, you stop for a minute, and you reminisce and enjoy this memory that you haven't thought of for quite some time. And the words, peer up to the sky and find this star, just resonate with you. And Theodore, in that moment, you just instinctively look up towards the sky, and you see these clouds overhead as the sun rays just beam through them. And you're staring, and it's almost as if these ripples, like someone just threw a pebble into a pond, these ripples begin to form in the sky, and all of a sudden, you feel this massive tremor. Everybody give me a dexterity save.
52 success.
69. Fail.
38 success.
Theodore and John, you feel this massive tremor, and it immediately brings you back and out of this memory. And this tremor hits you with such force that emanates from this monolith that it knocks you back, but you're able to stay on your feet. Oliver, you're so enamored with this little girl that immediately this tremor hits and you fly straight back off of your feet and you smack the ground. Everything around you begins to shake. You look off into the forest and the trees begin to shake and split. And you turn around, Oliver, you get to your feet and you see coming from this monolith, these chasms begin to open and the ground just cracks and spreads.
Oh God, run!
We have to get out of here now!
I find my footing and I try to just run and avoid these chasms.
All three of you turn around and take off down the hill. Oliver, as you're running, give me a dexterity save.
An 8 extreme success.
Oliver, you're running down this hill, and just before you reach the valley, this chasm splits open in the ground, and you are able to just leap over it as you feel this heat rising up from the ground. And you reach the other side, and you sort of stumble and fall, but you regain your footing and continue taking off through the forest. John, you turn, and you're running down this hill. Give me a dexterity save.
26, hard success.
You're right behind Oliver, and this chasm opens up, and you see Oliver jump over, and he makes it. And you also run and you leap. It's a little bit tougher for you, and you jump and you barely make it, and you grab a hold of the ground, and you feel your fingernail just snap back as this pain sears up your arm.
Ah!
Oliver, you turn around, and you see John hanging there on the edge of this chasm.
Oh, John, hold on! I turn around and run back to try to help him.
Go ahead and give me a strength check, Oliver.
Give me a hand!
25, hard success.
You easily just grab John, and with your adrenaline, you pull him up out of this ever-growing chasm. John, you're pulled up by Oliver, and you look back at this chasm, and you just see this fire erupt from this giant crack in the ground.
Ted, hurry up!
Ted, you're running behind them, and you stop just as John jumps over this chasm. It is widening, and you feel as if you can't make it.
I try to continue running down the chasm to where it's splitting from to see if I can just find anywhere to get across.
As you're running, every 3 steps you take, you feel like the ground is splitting 5 steps ahead. You just cannot outpace this giant crack in the ground.
Oh God. Oh God. I just keep running as fast as I can, and as soon as I get a moment where I feel a bit of success, I try to aim for it.
Give me a dexterity save.
Hurry, Ted! Hurry!
22 hard.
Theodore, for a moment, you begin to outpace this chasm as it continues to split, and you make your move, and you turn, and you leap over this thing, and you just make it. And you continue running towards John and Oliver.
Nice, Ted, hurry!
I'm going as fast as I can, John.
Come on, Oliver, let's go!
Where do we go from here?
Away!
To the shore.
You're running through this jungle, and these trees just begin to fall. Everybody, give me dexterity save.
40 success.
10 extreme success.
2 extreme success.
You guys are running through this forest, and you're literally dodging these massive trees as they're splitting and breaking all around you. And you're running through this thick foliage. And as you're running, the air around you begins to fill with this hazy mist. And you peer back, and from this chasm, this darkness just begins to rise as the tremors get more and more intense, and your eyes begin to fill with this darkness, and you feel weak, and you peer back, and you just see this shadow rising and blotting out the sun as there's this massive overcast of darkness that blankets over the island. and everything begins to get dark, and everything begins to fade away, and you hear this ringing in your ears, and you feel very disoriented.
What's happening? I can't.
What's that sound?
John, Oliver, you still there?
Theodore, your voice just echoes as if you're in this large stadium.
Oliver! John!
Hello?
Where are you? Sounds like you're everywhere.
The sounds and your voices just begin to echo all around you. Theodore, John, and Oliver, you feel as if you're in total darkness. You can't see anything. And the sounds just begin to get louder and louder, and they pierce your head, and you feel faint, and everything goes dark, and you fade away for just a moment. You begin to hear this buzzing noise, and Theodore, you begin opening your eyes, and your eyes try to adjust, and everything's really foggy, and you're still extremely nauseous, and you feel a little bit fevered. And you're trying to remember what had happened. And you look out to your right, and you see this window, and you peer out, and you're above the clouds. And you look straight ahead, and you see this man that you've never seen before flying this plane. And you look off to your left, and you see Oliver and John sitting next to you, still asleep. And you're trying to recall how you got here. And the only thing you can remember was your father, and something about your father. And you do remember waking up this morning in your apartment in this cold sweat, and everything just feels like it was a dream, like a bad dream. You remember looking for your father, but that's really all. John, you begin opening your eyes, and you feel just as groggy, and you look around, and you realize that you're sitting in this plane, and you hear the plane blades just cutting through the air as it resonates inside of the cabin, and you're trying to figure out what had happened. And you remember waking up in your apartment this morning, and you remember something about this weird totem, and it glowing, and this monster just chasing you. And then you woke up, and it was like this bad nightmare, and the details are very foggy and hazy. Oliver, you begin to wake up, and your eyes are burning, and they finally adjust, and you see that you're in a cabin of a plane, and you're trying to recall what had happened. And you do remember waking up in the morning, and you remember this something about a little girl. Very vividly, though, you know her face. You would be able to pick her out of a crowd, and you remember her just following you and chasing you. But it all just seemed like a bad dream when you woke up. Hey, you guys finally get awake.
Who the hell are you?
Hi, my name's Ronald. We had met a couple hours ago. I'm surprised you forgot already.
Sorry, lack of sleep there. Where the hell are we going?
We're on our way to Sri Lanka, of course.
Oh, of course.
Where did he say we're going? Sri Lanka? Why?
I don't know. Ted, you awake?
Yeah, John, I don't remember. When did we get on the plane?
I don't remember.
Everybody give me an intelligence check.
46, success.
89, fail.
18, hard.
Theodore, as you and John are discussing, and you hear this man tell you that you're on your way to Sri Lanka, you remember this letter that you had received in the mail about a week ago. And you remember reading it, but you can't remember the details, but you know you brought it with you. And you remember getting up this morning and getting into a very fancy car and being driven to the airport. And then things get a little hazy for you. John, you remember waking up and meeting this gentleman outside of your apartment, and he gave you a ride to the airport. And you remember boarding the plane and sitting down and taking off. But everything after that's just a little foggy.
I don't know what to make of this, Ted. I remember bits and pieces, but not much else.
I fish around in my jacket trying to find a letter.
Yeah, you fish around and you feel this envelope, and it's fairly fat.
I kind of discreetly pull it out of my jacket.
You pull it out of your jacket, and you peer down, and you see a stack of $100 bills, along with a folded up letter inside of this envelope.
John, what are you what do you make of this? I pull the letter out and I toss him the envelope of cash.
Ooh, a lot of bread in there, buddy.
Why do you think I have this, John? I don't remember getting this. Were we paid for something?
Was there a letter with that? What's that say?
Theodore, you unfold the letter, and it reads, Ted, I wanted to thank you for accepting my proposal. My personal assistants will arrive at 9 a.m. on June 26th to transport you to the airport. From there, my pilot Ronald will fly you to the island of Sri Lanka. A man and personal family friend of mine will greet you. His name is Leon Abrams. He can fill you in from there. Enclosed is half of the payment promised. Upon return, I will pay you the remaining balance due. Safe travels. Sincerely, Leonard Prescott.
Anything that has to do with big money, he's usually behind it. I search my pockets also.
John, when you dig through your pockets, you feel an envelope and you pull it out, and there's just as much cash as well as a letter inside of it.
I hand the envelope of Ted's money back to him, and I open my letter and inspect it.
It says the same exact thing as Theodore's.
Seems like the destination's the same for all of us, I assume.
I check my pockets.
You find the same exact thing.
So it would seem.
So, John, I know we sit down and share some food at Dave's every so often, but what did we get ourselves into again?
I don't know, but if Leonard Prescott's involved, it's usually bad business.
Bad business, but lots of money.
Clearly.
His money usually demands something steep from the people who accept it. I just wonder what we offered up.
Hey, Ronald,
Yeah,
you got a glass of water or something?
why, of course. And you see him fumble around a bag and he hands you a bottle of water.
And, how much longer till we arrive?
That'll be about a couple hours.
Thank you.
And he just continues flying the plane.
Well, guys, I don't know what to make of it now, but we might as well just kick back. We'll figure this out when we get there. We're kind of stuck for the moment.
You guys sit back in mystery as this plane continues to fly. And you peer out of the windows and you're just taking in the scene. And it's a gorgeous day outside. And a couple hours go by. And you see this island. And you begin descending down into this field. And the plane lands. And it's pretty rough. And it comes to a stop. And you peer out and you see this Jeep sitting out in this field. And this man gets out of the Jeep and begins to approach the plane. Well, guys, we're here.
Thanks for the lift, Ronald.
Oh, you're very welcome. You guys have a wonderful trip.
Before I get off, I peer around for a bag if I brought one.
Yeah, you look down and you see your bag.
I grab it, make my way out of the plane.
You step off the plane and this humid air just hits you in the face and almost drains any amount of energy that you had because you've already felt horrible today.
I also collect any luggage if I have any and make my way off the plane.
Hey, you grab your bags and you head off.
I follow suit.
You guys all get off the plane in this hot, sticky weather, and you peer up, and you see this gentleman walking towards you.
Ugh, I miss New York already.
This is awful.
I walk towards the gentleman.
What's going on, mates? How do you like the heat?
Oh, it is atrocious, sir.
Name's Leon Abrams.
Nice to meet you. I approach him and offer my hand.
Pleasure to meet you too.
Oh, Leon, yeah, you were our contact?
Yeah, Mr. Prescott sent me to pick you guys up and take you.
Where are we going again? Remind me.
We're heading on an exhibition. You haven't heard?
We missed the briefing.
Yeah,
Maybe perhaps you could fill us in.
We weren't really privy to those details.
Oh, right. All right. Mr. Prescott said that it might be a little bit on the down low. We're headed to find a certain artifact that he would like. He's already sent a team prior, but now we're going in as the cleanup crew to find what he actually wants.
Cleanup crew, huh?
Yeah, I'm supposed to lead you guys in, and we're supposed to come back out with a little artifact that he would like.
So is Mr. Prescott here now?
No, I'm kind of his middleman here.
Oh, I see.
Well, that sounds good, Leon. Just a moment if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure, take all the time you need.
I step back towards John and Oliver, kind of motion them a foot away from him. Guys, I don't know. I have no idea what we signed up for, but let's maybe try not to stir any waves here.
Yeah, that sounds way out of my area of expertise.
I don't disagree, Oliver. I don't see why I would have signed up for this in my wildest dreams. I kind of like it in my apartment alone, in the dark with my radios.
This definitely does seem strange for what we usually do.
I'm just saying, guys, let's just play it cool, maybe.
Agreed.
I mean, we got some big stacks of money here, and I'd like to keep it.
My sentiments exactly. I check my jacket pocket to make sure my camera's there.
It is.
I take it out and just give it a nice once-over.
It looks absolutely gorgeous.
Wonderful. I place it back in my pocket.
And as you pull the camera out, you pause for a moment and you get this flashback. And you remember actually meeting with Leonard Prescott briefly. And you remember why you're here. He wanted you to catalog and photograph these ruins during this expedition.
If you guys are done flirting, the Jeep's ready to go whenever you are.
Yeah, Leon. Let's beat feet.
Yeah, I suppose we are done for now, Leon. So what's the next step?
So now I'm taking you guys to Matholi. It's the smallest village closest to the expedition site, and that's where we'll kind of have base camp set up.
All right, well, let's get loaded up. Goddamn mosquitoes are biting me up.
Yeah, they tend to do that around here.
So you guys head into this Jeep, and this is a rugged-looking Jeep. It's all beaten and torn and tattered and rough. And Leon jumps into the driver's seat and starts this thing up. And he roars through the field and heads off into this beaten, rugged path through the jungle. And as you guys are driving, you're passing these massive fields, and you peer out and you see workers collecting tea leaves, and you see little boys carrying these massive baskets. And you also drive a little further and you see this huge watering hole with these elephants. And you drive further and you're passing these carts that are pulled by these mules. And you see this just very thick jungle.
So not to distract you, Leon, but he wouldn't have happened to say why he brought me along, did he?
No, he didn't actually say anything about you.
I mean, I guess I got some specialty in radios. Maybe that's what he was looking for.
Yeah, maybe. I don't really know. I just know where I'm supposed to go and that you guys are my crew.
So you going to be chauffeuring us around for the rest of this expedition, as you call it?
I mean, if you can call the Jeep a chauffeuring vehicle, I guess.
I mean, where I grew up, that's good enough for me.
Boy, guys, look at this jungle. Amazing.
Yeah, isn't it beautiful out here?
I mean, the heat, the bugs, yeah, it sucks, but man, this is just amazing. I kind of feel like Doc Savage on some grand adventure, just like in the pulp magazines. So Leon, how long you been working for Mr. Prescott?
About 2 years now. Right out of college, I started working. I moved here to Sri Lanka to get away because I'm an archaeology doctor myself, and I wanted to find knowledge, and I figured the remote jungle's probably one of the best places you could go.
It does seem like an ancient land here, but I'm a little confused as to what my role is here. The pilot, Ronald, said you'd be able to answer these questions.
I mean, from what I heard, you're probably here for some sort of insurance purposes to keep it legit. I mean, if he wants to have more expeditions, he obviously has to have the papers all in order.
Well, I suppose that makes sense. Been out of the business for a little while, but just having a hard time remembering. But thank you.
I actually have a little bit of aspirin back at the camp if you'd like one when we get there.
Definitely.
Well, I think I remember why I'm here. I pull my camera out and I start snapping photos out the window of the scenery.
Yeah, you're just taking in this gorgeous scenery, and you're able to capture these beautiful images of these elephants and this culture just working and continuing to grow. You travel on for a couple hours through this treacherous terrain, and it's actually beginning to make you all a little sick. You're not used to bouncing around nearly as much living in New York City. And you come up to this small village town that you see off into the distance. There are a couple huts just spattered about in this space. And as you're driving up to it, you're passing these young children kind of playing tag, and you're passing these women that are carrying these large baskets. And you drive into this town, and you all notice that as you're driving in, people are kind of looking at you funny. Their eyes follow the Jeep. You kind of write it off as the rich men are coming into town. And you make your way into the center of this village, and you look around you, and it's just a series of wooden and stone huts.
I don't imagine there's gonna be any 5-star lodgings in this town.
Yeah, it's not the most running water type of place, but it's home.
I mean, is the water safe to drink?
Yeah, of course.
So where are we staying at, Leon?
I might have a little bit of a setup on the outskirts of town we can go to, unless you'd like to look for your own lodging.
Yeah, I'll pass on that. I mean, as much as I like sleeping on the ground, let's not do that here.
Of course, I can put you up.
Leon, you begin driving towards your bungalow, and it's about 6 o'clock p.m., and the sun is beginning to set just a little bit. And you make your way to the outskirts of this town, and you're still pretty close to the village. And you get out. Everybody give me a spot check.
A 63 fail.
61 success.
100 fail.
29, success.
Leon, as you get out of the Jeep, you peer back, and you see a man that everybody's very familiar with. He's this older man, hunched over, and he's kind of the village crazy person. He tells a lot of stories. He's sort of a fortune teller of sorts, and he is completely blind. But something strikes you as odd because he's walking directly towards the Jeep, and he's fixated on the Jeep, but you know he can't see a single thing.
What you on about, old man?
Ah, Leon, is that you?
Of course it is. Who do you think?
You bring others.
Yeah, don't they look gorgeous?
I can't see them, but I can feel them.
You're starting to weird me out, Rashmi.
And you see him he's continuing to walk towards you with his walking stick, and he's just poking around. And you see his head turn towards Theodore, John, and Oliver, and he stops dead in his tracks.
Ah, you three must leave this place. You must turn around and leave. You must leave. You must turn around and leave this place.
What are you rattling on about, old man?
You. Ah, John, is it?
How did you know that?
I know these things. I feel them. I can see things that others cannot.
I step closer to inspect the old man.
As you approach Rashmi, you see his eyes are completely foggy, and he's this short, wrinkled, old man, bald, and he just looks around blankly and then fixates on you.
I crouch down, put my hand on his shoulder, and get my head down to the same level as his. Do you need help back to your bungalow, old man?
As soon as you touch his shoulder,
No, don't you touch me.
Well, I'm sorry.
Oh, back away. You need to leave. You must leave this island. What follows you is no good.
What follows me? What?
Death follows you. You must leave this place right now.
Leon, what is this?
I don't know, he's always talking crazy, but Rashmi, you're scaring him off.
I need to scare them off. You need to leave.
and he turns around and just begins walking back into the village.
I'm snapping photos of him and the situation as it's happening.
Go ahead and give me a craft photo.
75 success.
Yeah, you're capturing this entire event as it takes place.
Guys, I'm honestly sorry about that. He's usually talking crazy, but nothing like that.
I wonder what he meant by all that. Death, following us, craziness.
I just write it off, guys, honestly. I mean, they probably don't want us in this town. I'm sure what we've been doing here, and by we, I mean Leonard Prescott's expedition, it disturbs their way of life. An old man like this, an old-timer, I just don't think he wants us here.
Yeah, I suppose you may be right.
Leon, has he ever had a problem with you before?
No, he usually just goes about his business and does whatever he feels. He never really has said anything like that to me. What really had me is how he fixated on you, like he could see. He's blind. He can't see anything.
The blind can see more than you realize.
At that time, you're all beginning to feel extremely tired and pretty hungry, and you decide to make your way in and maybe take a little bit of a rest. It's about 8 o'clock. The sun goes down, and you hear these footsteps approaching the bungalow from inside.
Guys, hold on. Let me go check it out and see what it is.
Leon, you walk up to the door, and you open it up, and you see this adorable little child, and he holds out this food, this meat that he had prepared for you. and he just nods his head and smiles.
Does this usually happen around town?
No.
All right. Thanks, little one. So I take the meat from him, and I turn around and I try to bar the door, make sure, like, if I have a lock on it, I'm going to lock it. And I'm just going to look at it and see if it looks appetizing, if I could eat it.
It looks absolutely delicious. It looks like a well-prepared piece of lamb.
All right. Hey, guys, you finna eat dinner?
That smells wonderful.
I'm all about that.
Only thing, though, it's almost like a weird offering. Like, the village people have come. They've never done this to me before. He just walked up with this gorgeous lamb and just gave it to me.
Well, clearly they think something special of us. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but I'm starving right now, so I'll take it.
You guys have the most delicious lamb you have ever tasted, and it fills your stomach, and you begin just dozing off.
Before I go to bed, I'd like to inspect my luggage and rummage through it. Does it seem like the contents are normal as far as anything that I would have packed for any normal trip? Nothing out of the ordinary?
There's nothing out of the ordinary at all. You actually have everything that you would have packed.
Before I go to sleep, I'm going to go around to all the doors in my bungalow and try to make sure they're extra fortified because I'm fairly creeped out about the stuff that's happened today.
You do so.
When I see John rummaging through his bag, I kind of remember about mine for a moment and pull out one of my radios that was in there. Turn it on. See if I get any kind of signal out this way.
It turns on, but you just hear static.
Oh, at least it still works.
Can you tune in the ball game for us?
I wish, John. I wish. I think we're a little far out for that now.
Not much use trying to listen to a Dodgers game anymore anyways. Hey, Ted. I don't know, I have such a weird feeling being here. Almost just like, I don't know, like a boyish kind of giddy anticipation. Like it's almost like some grand adventure. I haven't felt this way in a long time. It kind of reminds me of when my brother and I would go stay with our grandparents down in Louisiana. It just, we'd spend the summer down there with them, and it was always just, always one adventure after another, going down through the bayou and the swamps, and I just haven't felt this way in a long time. It's odd. I haven't even thought of it until now.
John, I wish I shared that same boyish wonder as you have. That's quite a gift you have. I mean, I'm just glad that this money will pay off some of the stuff that I owe. That's probably the only reason I signed up for this gig.
As they're talking, I take a photograph of John, the flash, right in his face.
Oh, again with the pictures.
There you go, John. Here's a picture of the great adventurer, John Murdoch, in Sri Lanka, exploring the unknown. It'll be the front page of the newspaper when I get back. It'll be beautiful.
You guys are too much. I roll over, try to tuck in.
You guys all fall asleep, and you get one of the most restful night's sleep you have ever felt in your life. And you wake up in the morning to the sound of a rooster. And you open your eyes, and the sun is kind of beaming into the bungalow. And you wake up. Leon, you're used to getting up extremely early. You're already awake.
Wake up, you sleepyheads. I got breakfast ready if you'd like.
What's on the menu?
Well, it's probably not as appetizing as you guys are used to in New York, but I have a little bit of eggs and some grain.
This sounds fancier than what I usually eat.
Yeah, I'll take some of that. So what's first on the agenda this morning?
I think whenever you guys are ready, we're set to head out.
Yeah, let me get something on my stomach. That was a great sleep, but I feel a little weird.
Yeah, you got any coffee?
Coffee? What do you think this is? This ain't Dave's, Oliver.
Huh, the eggs are definitely better here.
I can offer you water, but that's pretty much it.
That's about all Dave offered, too.
You guys sit down and have a really fulfilling breakfast, and you get up and you're ready to head out. Leon, you begin preparing the Jeep and getting ready for this expedition. John, Theodore, and Oliver, you prepare and you gather your belongings and you head out to the Jeep, and you see Leon sitting in the driver's seat.
So Leon, you don't expect there to be like any animals or anything out here. I mean, we're pretty deep in the jungle. I noticed nobody's really carrying any sort of protection.
I mean, if there is anything, I'm armed enough, and I turn around and grab my rifle from the rack on the back of the Jeep. And I got a little side protection myself, so we can pretty much take care of any animals that would hunt us down and eat us alive.
You sure you know how to use those things?
Of course I do. How you think I get on out here?
Well, you saw my flash on my camera last night. Worst comes to worst, I'll just blind anything that comes close.
Worst comes to worst, Oliver. I'll just run.
Don't worry, Ted. I brought my traveling iron.
All right, well, time's a wasting, boys.
Let's move out.
All right. So I start the car up and I put the rifle back, put her in gear, and start heading.
Leon, you start the car and you begin heading deep into the jungle. And this road and path is far more treacherous than even coming into the village. And you're driving for miles and miles and miles, and the path begins to shrink. Now, Leon, you've been back this way before because you've scouted the area, and you know that in about 10 minutes, you're going to have to all hoof it the remaining 20 miles.
All right, guys, coming up here soon. We're going to have to get out and walk like big men.
How far are we talking?
Quite a ways. I think it's 15, 20 miles.
Oh,
15,
good
20
God.
miles.
Yeah, the drive is way too treacherous for the Jeep, so we're going to have to walk.
Oh, okay then.
Well, we're here now. I'm not prepared for that, but I guess we'll do it.
Yeah, I wasn't turning around if you went.
You continue on your way, and you roll up to the area where you have to get out, and you look up and you see this massive just mountain range that kind of surrounds you, and this extremely thick jungle that you pretty much have to hack your way through. It's almost impassable. But Leon, you've taken it upon yourself to kind of forge a path.
So is there already a crew out there waiting for us?
Actually, no, it's just us. There was an expedition here a little while ago, but I guess they didn't get what Prescott wanted, because he sent us.
Oh, cleanup crew, that's right.
Right.
I mean, they didn't get what he wanted, but they did get back, right?
Yeah, as far as I know, nobody was really too maimed. Maybe some scratches and scrapes here and there from the terrain, but other than that, I think we're good.
All right, then. So, Leon, not to distract you once again, but I'm still kind of confused as to why Prescott wanted me here. And I mean, I know you don't know. You already kind of said that, but any idea? I mean, I do my radio show.
Right, I mean, I know that he maybe wants to bring out more expeditions, kind of like a safari, but not, because obviously we don't have lions and that kind of shit out here, but maybe he wants you to advertise on your show.
Yeah, that I guess that works for me. I mean, he chose a weird place to put it, but if he's going to pay me this much money, I'll advertise whatever he wants.
Right, anything to make him money, I guess. That's what he's all about.
After he tells me that, I search down my bag. Did I bring, like, notepad and paper and pencil?
Oddly enough, you did.
Yeah, Leon. I guess I did come prepared for this.
You guys press on deep into the jungle. Leon is leading the way, and you're following single file because it's just so claustrophobic. And as you're walking, the humidity begins to take its toll, and sweat drips from your brow as you feel the heat coming off the sun, and you march on further and further into this thick, thick jungle. Everybody give me a listen.
74 fail.
53, fail.
20 success.
4 extreme.
Oliver, you're taking in these beautiful sights, and you're snapping these pictures as you're walking because you don't want to miss anything. Leon, you're focused on getting everybody there safely and forging this path. John and Theodore, you're kind of in the back of the pack, and Theodore, you hear this rustling off behind you, almost like these leaves are moving.
Hey, everybody, stop. And I stop moving, and I kind of hold John.
I pause taking photographs and turn around.
What's going on, mate? What do you need?
Leon, listen.
You hear this rustling again, and this time everybody hears it. But it's very faint, but it's definitely rustling.
All right, everyone stay quiet. There's several animals that this could be, but not too many of them are nice and friendly. So, try to stay still.
Oh, so you're saying the odds are not in our favor then?
No, not at all, mate. And I pull out Alice and get ready to try to take anything down.
Leon, you pull out Alice, which is your sidearm, and you prepare to fire. You all sit quietly and still, and you hear this rustling get closer and louder. Everybody, give me a spot check.
88 fail.
92, fail.
65, fail.
89, fail.
Can you guys hear anything? See anything?
Nothing.
You guys all just sit quietly peering, and all of a sudden, this massive cat, this leopard, leaps from the thick foliage on top of Oliver. Oliver, this thing jumps on you and bites into your arm and rips this chunk of flesh from the top of your shoulder.
Ah, God!
Leon, shoot it!
As it takes this bite out of your shoulder, you feel its claw rip into your chest and straight down your body, and you fumble backwards and you kind of roll as its other claw comes slamming down onto the ground.
As soon as I realize what's going on, I'll pull up Alice and I'll fire 3 shots.
You pull up your weapon and you see this leopard diving onto Oliver as it sinks its teeth into his shoulder, and you pull up and you fire 3 times. The first 2 shots kind of go awry because this leopard is jumping and moving and Oliver is freaking out. It's so chaotic. And the 3rd shot you steady and you squeeze the trigger and you see your bullet go straight through the neck of this leopard, and it just collapses on top of Oliver. And Oliver, as it collapses on top of you, you feel the weight of this massive cat just take the air out of your lungs as it collapses onto your chest.
Let's get it off him now. I'm gonna run over and try to lift the leopard off of poor Oliver here.
I run over and assist.
Give me a strength check, Leon.
25, success.
Leon and John, you run over. Theodore, you're just in shock because you were right beside Oliver. You two run over and you grab this leopard and your adrenaline is rushing and you just rip this thing off of Oliver.
Steady, Oliver. Steady.
Oh, God.
Are you alright?
Yeah, there are no lions here, but there sure as hell are leopards.
I reach down and start to inspect the wound.
Oh, God.
John, you look at this bite on Oliver's shoulder, and it looks pretty rough. It's not really bleeding a ton, but you can definitely see meat.
Oh, jeez.
I snap out of it and I run over to Oliver. How's he look, John?
It's a pretty good bite. I reach in my pocket, I grab my pocket knife, and I cut away any of the fabric that's stuck in the wound, and I try to clean it up, so I'd like to perform a first aid.
Go ahead.
7, extreme success.
So you begin cutting away the fabric that is just soaked in blood and sticking to this wound, and you're able to find this bottle of water and clean off the wound, and it's not nearly as deep as you had thought.
Oh, Oliver, boy, you got lucky on this.
Yeah, you're telling me.
All right, well, I'm going to finish patching you up, but we need to get moving along. There's a lot of blood. So much blood around us.
Yeah, I'll be fine. Thanks. Thanks for helping out, John.
I help Oliver up and kind of pick his bag up off the ground.
I'm sorry about that, mate. On the way through, they didn't give me any trouble the first time.
Oh, it's all right. I mean, wild animals. What can you do, right?
Well, there's blood in the water now, boys. Let's get moving.
Yeah, we've attracted a lot of attention since we've been here.
You guys press on, and you press on for about another hour and a half, and you approach this sort of cleared out area where the expedition had taken place, and you walk up and you see this large hole in the ground that's just sunken down in, and there are vines and overgrowth just wrapping in and around this large opening. And you walk up to the edge of it and you peer down in, and it's total darkness. And that's what we're going to call it. And that concludes our show for this evening. Please, if you like what you heard, leave us a comment and let us know. You can follow us on Twitter @TomesCast. Until next time, ta-ta.